Grab the fuel nozzle and get ready to fuel up on trends and strategies to grow your travel center business in this episode of The Truck Stops Here, brought to you by NATSO. Now, here's your host, Amy Toner.
Hello, and welcome to today's episode of The Truck Stops Here. I'm your host, Amy Toner. You are listening to The Truck Stops Here, the NATSO Foundation's podcast. The NATSO Foundation is the research, education, and public outreach subsidiary of NATSO, and I have a special guest with me, Kevin Rohlwing. He's the Chief Technical Officer for the Tire Industry Association. Hi, Kevin.
Hi, Amy.
I roped him in. We're at NATSO Connect, where he's helping me put up this safety station. We're showing people how to safely service trucks on the side of the road. And we are really excited that the Tire Industry Association has given the NATSO Foundation a annual rights to use your tire safety video. Can you tell us about the video? And actually, just tell us a bit about you and what you do.
Okay. My name's Kevin Rohlwing. I'm with the Tire Industry Association, Chief Technical Officer. I've been with the association 27 years.
Wow.
Been in the tire industry 41 years, so I'm old. I started as a technician, and my early years in this business were as a road service tech. I've been on the side of the road. I've been on the interstates. I've been pretty much anywhere a tire goes flat in that regard. Came to the association in 96 with the goal of developing a training program for truck tire technicians.
Okay.
That was the plan was, and what they didn't want was your video workbook self-study, watch the video, take the workbooks in and the test. They actually wanted trainers. They wanted people talking to people. So there was, interaction. So we created a train-to-trainer program. I've been doing that for the last 26 years, I guess. We started in 97. Probably trained over 250,000 people in that time. And I will say that we've made the industry safer by giving the trainers the tools to teach the techs. Yeah. So I think that's a big part of what we do is, I say it in every class that I teach. I can't make you do anything. All I can do is give you the information and hope you take that information and act on it. Yeah. And road service is one of those areas. The road service safety video that NATSO now has, on your system is actually part of our certification program, which is a designed program for experienced tire professionals who are in the tire industry, typically tire dealers. So they get a certification, and that road service video is part of that. So in discussions with you and with your with the safety group, there was a lot of interest in that video. It's not part of what we would call our OSHA compliance training, right? But it's definitely something that would benefit your members. And, safety is safety, and there's no competition there. So we were able to make that work, and that video will be ready to go in a couple of months here. And as soon as it's ready, I'll send you the files, and you guys can get it up and running. The
magic will happen.
Yes.
So who should be watching the course? Who should be taking it?
I mean, I would say, first of all, in terms of the road service, anybody that works on the side of the road. Right. I think that's probably the best way to look at that is that if you're going to be working on the side of a highway or the side of a road or interstate or whatever, then it would be a good idea to watch this video, because there's some really good information there in terms of how to set up your job site, what to look for, what are the things that you need to be aware of. And for me, it's about identifying hazards. That's my job, I feel, as the Chief Technical Officer at TIA is to identify the hazards. I'm going to let you know how you're going to get hurt or how you're going to get, a serious or a fatal injury. And I think that by identifying those hazards, then it gives the technician, I guess the information that they need to make better decisions. We talked about this yesterday in the meeting. There's only one person who has all the information. That's the tech. Yeah. The tech on the site at the time, in the place, with everything around them. They're the only ones that have all the information. So the better trained they are, the better decisions they'll make. So that's kind of where it all starts from, is to say, think about these things, look at these things, consider these recommendations. And then when you're out there, when you're on the side of the road, when you're doing it at whatever hour of the day you're doing it, then hopefully you'll make better decisions. And that's really what it comes down to is that we just want them to be better informed, better educated, so that so they're doing the right thing by themselves, doing the right thing by their customer, and getting home at the end of the day. That's really what the goal is.
Now, I know there's a whole video for people to watch, but what are a few of the things in it that you think technicians need to know for safety?
Well, I mean, I think first and foremost, and again, I said this yesterday in the meeting. This isn't golf, all right? You don't have to play it where it lies. And what I mean by that is that if the scene is not safe, if the traffic is too close to if it's a left side flat and you've got no fog line and no shoulder, move the truck. And I know we had a pretty spirited discussion about this yesterday, that, what's it going to take? And what it's going to take is just the industry refusing to work on unsafe vehicles.
Okay.
And I think that we've got a lot of our tire dealer members who have stopped work authority from their owners. And what that basically means is that as a technician goes on a road service call and says, this is not a safe place for me to work, so you need to move the truck.
Yeah.
And the driver or the fleet says, well, we're not moving the truck. And the dealer says, then we're going to leave. We'll just pack up our tools and go. I mean, I don't have to do this. And I think that's what's happened is that we've had a couple of pretty serious accidents, a couple of fatalities over the years. And the owners of these businesses and the senior management has just said enough's enough. And we're just not going to take chances anymore. And I still think that, there's a certain degree of cowboy, I guess, in a lot of these guys. I mean, it's a pretty tough business. So you can't be soft and be in this industry, whether it's a truck stop or a tire dealer.
Yeah.
So there's a certain amount of, it was dangerous and crazy, but I got it done and type stuff.
Right.
And I think that I understand that because I was that guy. I mean, I can't sit here and say that I've never done it because I have. But, now that I'm a little older and hopefully a little wiser and pass that on to some of the younger techs to say, look, again, you got to make the call. Yeah. And I think first and foremost is when you're coming up on the job site, when a road service, technician is pulling up to the disabled vehicle, first and foremost is assess the situation. Is this a safe place to work? Can it be moved? And, we even talked yesterday about towing. Put a tow truck and hook it up and take it to the next exit. Drive it up there. I mean, there's a lot of ways that we can solve that problem. I think it's going to take the industry collectively just agreeing that, we're just not going to work on it. And everybody's worried about hours of service and just in time and just in sequence. And, the trucking industry is run by the clock. And, if enough trucks get stranded out there waiting for the second or third service provider because they just refuse to move it, then maybe the fleets will start getting the message,
right,
and informing their drivers to say, hey, look, take this into consideration. When you get a flat tire, and it depends on what it is. If it's a steer tire flat, that's a different story. But a lot of times it's a dual drive or a trailer that you could very easily limp it up to the next exit and provide safe working space for the tech, especially when it's driver's side flats, because that's the traffic lane. And I think that as we raise awareness, I know you guys are doing it, we're doing it.
Yeah.
So I think as more and more people raise awareness, and we're going to have to leave a couple of trucks on the side of the road. I already know of some of our dealers that have done that. Some of our members at TIA that have said, nope, too dangerous. We're going to pass unless you move it. Well, we're not moving it. Have a nice day. And when the technician is empowered to do that, I think that's the first steps. But I mean, again, I always say that this isn't golf.
Right.
We don't have to play it where it lays, and this is a different story. So I think first and foremost, we like to start there.
Okay. Now, I know you're coming out with a new version of the video. Is that because we have more information? Have the taxes changed? Yeah,
what we do is we typically, our certification program is like our latest and greatest, and we try and update every 5 to 7 years just to keep up with new trends. For this new video, we've definitely changed a lot of things. We still, and it kind of goes in sections. The beginning of the video is all about pre-trip. Inspecting the truck, making sure that all your lights are working, all your safety equipment's in place, all the tools that you're going to need are there, and the truck being a tool, and the compressor and everything else. So we start there. And then driving. I mean, we put a lot more emphasis on driving safety here. We kind of borrowed the SAFE program from Federated Insurance, which is speed, attention, fatigue, and emotion. From the insurance side of it, from our dealer side of it, it's the number one liability for a fleet.
Okay.
Anybody that's operating trucks, the potential for what we call nuclear lawsuits you're a tire technician, you're in a service truck, and you get in an accident, the business, the company is going to be held liable for your actions. And there's been some, multi-million-dollar lawsuits on like rear-ending somebody or pulling out in traffic or, running a red light or whatever. So the driving aspect of this industry has really become incredibly liable, so that's something that we definitely wanted to focus on. So again, we picked up on Federated's program with SAFE, talking about, okay, how does speed impact safety in driving? How does attention, pulling off the side of the road to take calls and not texting, and fatigue is a huge part of it, because as your industry knows, and we do as well, tires go flat 24/7.
Yeah.
So if the tire's flat at 4:00 in the morning, then someone's got to go out there. And if you've already worked a full day and,
right,
fatigue is going to impact your decision making. It's going to impact your reaction times. It plays a big role. And then finally, emotion. I think, again, I always tell, when I'm teaching classes for techs, I'm like, you guys get paid by the hour, man. If you're stuck in traffic, you're getting paid to sit there. I mean, turn on the radio, kick some tunes, and relax. It gets into a little bit of an issue when some companies are like, you're on commission, so you want to be in a hurry. And I think, again, it's part of the process of the industry understanding that, faster isn't always better.
Yeah.
A lot of times faster is not as safe, and especially when it comes to operating the vehicle. I don't want my drivers, 5 miles under the speed limit in the right lane taking their dear sweet time, but I also don't want them weaving in and out of traffic and to get there 5 minutes early or 10 minutes early. I mean, the customer's in a hurry, but, they're going to be in a lot more of a hurry if you get in an accident. And again, the liability side of it, we've seen some accidents through Federated where it's, guy checks his phone as he's coming up to a stoplight, rear ends a car and kills somebody, and it's 20, 30, 40, $50 million. It put a company out of business. So understanding the drivers, understanding the responsibility that they have, when they're behind the wheel. So we really put a lot more emphasis on the driving component for that reason.
Okay. Well, hopefully I said this at the beginning, but we're really excited about it. And we're really thankful that you are doing that with us at NATSO. Before we leave, I'm going to ask you my fun questions.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What do we got here?
Okay. No, you can't look surprised.
Oh, okay.
Okay. What's your go-to on the road snack?
Right now, I would say dark chocolate.
Oh, okay.
Dark chocolate and half sweet, half unsweet tea. I can't do the full sweet tea anymore, but.
Oh, well, how do you take your truck stop coffee? That's another question.
I don't drink coffee.
Oh.
I don't need coffee. I have a natural
a zest for life.
Energy level that people,
This doesn't surprise me.
Scary when I'm on coffee, because I love the smell, but I just don't like the taste. It's very strange.
That is strange. Okay. If you're stuck at a truck stop at a snowstorm, how do you pass the time?
Stuck at a truck stop. People watch. I mean, no question about it. I would go inside and just sit and just watch. I just love to people watch. It doesn't matter where I am.
Huh.
It's just something my wife and I both enjoy that. We'll sit on a bench and just watch people for hours and just,
make up stories about them?
Yeah, we do that.
Yeah,
I'm not going to say that we don't. I'm not going to say we do that. What do you think about that guy right there? What do you think his deal is?
Yeah, exactly.
And you just come up with stuff. And I'm sure they're doing the same thing about us.
Just
two people sitting on a bench, talking. But no,
take it in.
I would say people watch. And probably, grab something to eat.
Yeah.
But definitely people watch.
How do you prefer to ride or drive?
Oh, drive.
Okay.
Terrible passenger.
Oh, no. All right.
Terrible
And the last
passenger.
is our faux controversial question. Is it a truck stop, travel center, or travel plaza?
I'm old school, so I'm going to probably call it a truck stop. I would say that's probably how I'm going to look at it. I realize that there are more than that now, and that, we've kind of evolved as an industry. But yeah, I'm going to go old school and say probably truck stop. That's my thing.
All right. Well, thank you for listening to the Truck Stops Here. You can find us online at natso.com/podcast. If you have any questions, reach out to me at editor@natso.com. Thanks, Kevin.
You're welcome. Thanks, Ellen.
Bye.
Thanks, Brian.
The Truck Stops Here was brought to you by NATSO, the association representing truck stops and travel centers. Visit natso.com for more information. The Truck Stops Here is produced by NATSO in collaboration with Human Factor. Producers are Amy Toner and Darren Schulte.